Hi, year 10. So now we move on to question 3. So question 3 is similar to language paper 1, examining your understanding of language. Now the question is, you now need to refer to only source A from lines 27 to 40. Now you're looking at something quite specific, lines that are specific here in source A. So remember to clearly mark what is source A and what is source B, so you're not referring to the wrong one. Another clue here is as to which source you need to write about is the question mentions the coal tip. So we're obviously looking at the one about Aberfan. Now, how does the writer use language to describe the coal tips? Again, this question is quite generic or general. It's quite open. You can think about the way that the writer describes the coal tips in any which way you kind of interpret it. So whether it's something that is disastrous or whether that is something that's amazing, interesting, whatever it is, it's open to your interpretation of what you think the coal tips is presented to be like. This question is worth 12 marks, so you do need to write a little bit more. You should spend about 12 to 14 minutes possibly on that. You should write between 2 and 3 paragraphs. You're writing 2. Really, you should write detailed. It should be longer paragraphs. If it's 3, what you should do is really, write maybe not as in depth, but still very interesting, insightful ideas. Okay, so the question does say highlight, underline 3 or 4 language-rich quotations. So you could write between 3 to 4 paragraphs too. Okay, so it says highlight, underline the lines you need to read, mark them out on the source, read the question carefully and highlight, underline the topic to focus on. Okay, and highlight, underline 3 to 4 language-rich quotations about the topic in the question. So if we look at the sources, okay, we'll go to source A here. Now 17, where is 17? So 17 is here. Hold on, sorry, it's not 17, is it? It's 27 to 40. Okay, so 27 starts here. So on the mountaintops, mountain above, on the mountain above, Aberfan, there was 7 such tips. Okay, so from here to the end, I believe. So you need to look at this description and pick out examples. Now I'm just going to go and pick out the first example that comes to mind, which is the idea of the coal tips being as though they're dumped by the hand of God. Okay, now I'm going to think about what the writer's intention for this is. What kind of technique is it? I think it's a metaphor. Okay. After that, what interpretations can I have of it? How does the writer present the coal tips? Well, if they're being dumped by the hand of God, it seems like something amazing almost. It's as if the people do not know how such a large amount of deposit is high up in the sky, as though it's been placed there by God. Okay. Secondly, you may look at the idea of how the idea of like this being quite a biblical kind of event, like something that happens in the Bible that is noteworthy because of because of the fact that there is a lot of destruction. Okay, so you have the sense of it being quite a biblical event as well. So if we turn to look at the and how to structure our answers, we can look at this here. So it's really point evidence technique and analysis. Okay, so detailed peta paragraphs. Okay, so it's really standard peta paragraphs Again, just a reminder, you know, you get more marks for giving a developed answer. It could be more interpretations. It could be that you pick out 2 or 3 different types of techniques. It could be also because you're giving lots of different examples for the same point, or you could do all of the things at the same time, or just a couple of them. But those are some of the key things to remember if you're really aiming for 12 marks, or you know, above 10 at least. So let's move on to the model example. Here you've got the model example here. So the coal tips are described to have been dumped as though by the hand of God. This metaphor, so you've got the point evidence here. This metaphor suggests how high up the coal tips were in the mountaintops, as though God had placed them there. Okay, you've got an interpretation. They seem at once unnatural and a miracle. Another idea that could be suggested here by this metaphor is the foreshadowing of an almost biblical event taking place, which does occur as a whole village is swept away due to the coal tips crashing down on it. Okay, so what I've done here is again provided a couple of interpretations for the metaphor that I've picked out. So try to write, I mentioned to you before, 2 to 3. I think you could do 3 to 4 here. So try to pick out maybe 2 or 3 other examples that you can add to this, or even better if you can do 3 to 4 paragraphs. Good luck with that.